Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 214th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week we are asking the question, can you be addicted to the internet? But before we dive deep into the subject, couple of things to ask or go through first. Have you downloaded this episode on WokeNFree.com through the Podbean app? If not, please do, because that's how you're able to join the conversation with your comments. You have to have the app to put in your comments, so please make sure you do that. Now, if you are listening to podcasts on a device where you cannot download more apps, for instance, then make sure that you're followed and subscribed to the show on whatever platforms you're catching this on. So we gotta always give shout out to the love we get on iTunes, on TuneIn, on Stitcher, Google Play. Of course, those who subscribe and listen to our YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. Guys, it's a WokeNFree world, so make sure you just find us, subscribe, and follow along. Now, of course, when you do go to WokeNFree.com, also make sure you click the subscribe to follow the show so that you get notifications about what's going on. And then, of course, on social media, find us at WokeNFree on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Yes, I said TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. And then, of course, if you have 90 seconds, we'd love a review of the show on whatever platforms you're catching this on. So on our listen tab at WokeNFree.com, you can see again all the different places where you can catch a show, and we'd love a review wherever you'd like to give it on those platforms. So with that, I'm going to kick it to you, Khalil.
All right, I'll take it from here. Before we start the conversation, we'd like to share a little bit about ourselves. This week, we're asking, would you rather hang out with Cookie Monster or Captain Crunch?
So Cookie Monster, that's that sesame stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've always found that to be deeply disturbing.
Really?
As a child, it scared me, and as an adult, it scares me more. So, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, but Captain Crunch also seems scary, even though it's fictional,
Really?
But I think I'd go with Captain Crunch, because I do love the cereal.
So you go with the two-dimensional guy instead of the people in costumes?
Correct, because again...
Or puppets?
It's like, I don't know, puppets are a little bit scary.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Even one that eats cookies. Okay. That's interesting.
And also because that's upsetting because I want the cookies.
Well, that's why I actually chose Cookie Monster, because at least he can find you cookies and he gets you the ones you want to eat.
But
he'll get you your oatmeal raisin. Well, yeah, he's a monster, but at least you can take some from him and eat some as well.
You're going to go against a monster for cookies?
But you have to.
I'm not here for that life.
Oh, I mean, at least he finds it all. I mean, that's the good part. And Captain, all he can do is find, like, the crunch berries.
Nice.
And I would prefer that. Probably as a child, I would have gone for Captain Crunch, because, yeah, the crunch berries are easy, and then you don't have to worry about Cookie Monster. But I think now I'm kind of, like, addicted to cookies, right? Mm-hmm. So the good question to ask is, if you could be addicted to cookies, can you be addicted to the internet?
Nice transition. So, as shared on addictioncenter.com, you're ridiculous. There's some interesting stats that just kind of really I thought were interesting. So they shared that there was data from Pew Research Center that showed that 77% of Americans connect to the internet on a daily basis. So that's pretty interesting. And then for those who, kind of to answer the question, can you be addicted to the internet? I think the answer is definitely yes. It's not like, I think, accepted across the board, but, they stated in the article, when an action or desire becomes a hindrance and takes precedence over the most important aspects of one's life, like relationships, work, and school, it can become classified as an addiction. So internet addiction is yet to be listed in the latest edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, commonly known or referred to as the DSM-5. However, there have been studies that have kind of spoken to and shown this idea that, people are addicted to the internet. Professionals that do recognize the internet addiction tend to classify it as either an obsessive compulsive disorder or an impulse control disorder to aid in the treatment. And the internet addiction is also called compulsive computer use, pathological internet use, and internet dependence. So, and the article actually goes into 5 different types of internet addiction. I'll just briefly call them out. Cyber sex addiction, net compulsions, cyber online relationship addiction, compulsive information seeking, and then computer or gaming addiction. So, yeah, the answer is yes, and it's a varied answer.
Some of those I would call a career, though.
That's amazing.
That's would be
the
my
cyber
title
sex
for
one,
it.
right? Yeah.
Well, all of them basically. All those could be careers. So that's what's interesting about that one.
Amazing.
But I like the definition that encyclopedia.com gave, and they said internet addiction disorder refers to the problematic use of the internet, including the various aspects of its technology, such as electronic mail, email, and the World Wide Web. The reader should note that internet addiction disorder, it's not listed in Mental Health Professionals Handbook, as you mentioned, and the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, 4th edition, which is also called, like you said, the DSM. Internet addiction has, however, been formally recognized as a disorder by the American Psychological Association.
Interesting.
So if it is declared an actual disorder, I mean, I think that we could say it's a problem.
The answer is yes, yeah.
Yeah, because it might not, like as you said, been mentioned by all. They don't all consider it a disorder or an addiction or a real, like a thing that stands on its own, but it's recognized by some. So we got to say, yeah, it is. It's a real thing. It does exist. I think the thing is that some people would actually say it wouldn't be internet addiction that's the actual disorder. They say there's actually underlying disorders that are, and that's what's recognized by more doctors, like just the compulsive behavior that
absolutely
they'll call that the disorder, not specifically
the
internet addiction.
Se,
They're saying you have compulsive disorder, so that's what leads to the internet addiction.
Gotcha. So then what would you say are the classic traits when it comes to a person having internet addiction or any of the other, nomenclature that we mentioned?
So PsyCom lists some of the symptoms as feelings of guilt, anxiety, feelings of euphoria when using the computer, inability to prioritize or keep schedules, isolation, no sense of time, defensiveness, avoidance of work, agitation, mood swings, fear, loneliness, boredom with routine tasks, and procrastination.
So pretty much everyone's Friday night. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Having fun, yeah. Partying.
Classic.
Party hardy.
Classic stuff. All right. So,
well, that's how you party during a pandemic. You party alone.
I have no even proper comment for that. So again, referring back to addictioncenter.com, in 2005, Dr. Keith W. Beard published an article in which he proposed 8 characteristics that describe having an internet use disorder. And if 5 or more of the traits describe the subject, they would be diagnosed with an internet addiction. And so the characteristics, let's see if any of them are different than kind of what you mentioned. So one is a preoccupation with the internet. Second is needs to use the internet with increasing amounts of time in order to achieve satisfaction, has made unsuccessful efforts to control, cut back, or stop internet use, has stayed online longer than originally intended, is restless, moody, depressed, or irritable when attempting to cut down or stop internet use, has jeopardized or risked the loss of a significant relationship, job, or educational or career opportunity because of the internet, has lied to family members, therapists, or others to conceal the extent of the involvement of the internet, and then uses the internet as a way of escaping from problems or relieving a dysphoric mood, e.g. feelings of helplessness, guilt, anxiety, or depression. So, like I said, it sounds pretty much like everyone's weekend. So I'm not quite sure where that stands for America, but
so internet
especially
addiction,
with the pandemic. I mean, I would beg that a lot of people have some of these traits going on.
Just people using the internet then.
Pretty much. Everyone in like, 1,000-mile radius.
Yeah. I mean, anybody on social media fits the categories.
Correct.
That's pretty common. Wow.
So then it begs the question, what are the steps that could be taken to prevent becoming addicted to the internet in the future? If you're not already there.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually hard though, because everything is online.
Correct.
So what are you supposed to do? Like, these tech companies, they are doing stuff to try to help us with that. They provide what's called digital well-being tools. Yeah. And it helps you monitor and control your internet use. So they do have some stuff, and I'm going to list Google's actual thing that they do.
Oh, okay.
They got a system-wide tool for Android phones, and what it does is you can actually pause apps after a set amount of time. You can customize your notifications so you don't get so distracted, and you can just say, oh, there's a notification, got to check what's going on. You can set a bedtime mode to tell you, all right, it's time to wind down. You could also set daily limits for apps, so the apps actually won't work after a certain amount of time.
Oh, wow.
So they have they have other things they do too, but these are some ways that you can kind of curb your addiction using like tech basically to stop your internet addiction.
Yeah, all of those things would not work well or fare well with my addiction. So
because I think people would get mad when the app stops working.
Yeah, hard pass.
You'll say, "Hey, why is this app off?" And say, "You've reached your time limit. Time for bed."
I scream when
They'll tell you
the internet's
bedtime.
not working. And yeah, no.
You don't want your phone telling you, "Hey, that's enough for you.
That's absurd.
You've done enough for today."
Nope, I'm a grown up. Don't tell me nothing.
Even the internet, you're going to tell that too.
No,
Wow.
It's helpful. I think again, so for me, the internet definitely supplements and helps to enhance my life. But if there was ever a point in my life where I felt like the internet was a hindrance, like some of the traits we mentioned earlier, or was preventing me from accomplishing goals, then it's time to kind of get real honest and woken free with yourself and really make that assessment and make some changes. But as of right now, I would say the internet is a wonderful addition to my life. Am I an overuser? Yes. But, I also eat too many cupcakes in my life, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of overusage, I think, in things that you could do and not do. So according to unstoppablerise.com, they mentioned some things you could do. So similar to what you suggested, really looking at your time utilization and then, maybe using technology to kind of adjust how you use your time. They recommend having morning and evening routine protocols. So, meaning, the first thing you do you get out of bed is look at your phone? Absolutely not. First thing you need to do is go through your gratitude list like Oprah. Guys, there's a reason why she's a billionaire. Start your day with a gratitude routine before we get to the phone and get to the email and all of that good stuff.
What if you want to make sure you collect your rewards for the day?
Then you can do that the minute 2. Not the first minute. Do your first minute with your gratitude and then go to your rewards.
You better hope you forget then.
Yep, absolutely. Put a reminder in.
Okay.
Now this one is, I don't like this word because I think there's no reason for it. Embrace boredom, which like I said, I don't like the word boredom because there's so much to learn and to do and to make money. Stop playing games. Like no one should be bored. But in this context, they're saying kind of that silent time, that quiet time, really be present in that. But I would suggest
I disagree with that.
Learn,
unless you're meditating.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be just sitting there just
correct
reflecting without anything.
I would say exercise or do some art project or, sell NFTs or, do something,
you can reflect
guys.
before you go to sleep. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you just you're going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs and just think about life and what's the meaning of life. I don't know. That's weird to me.
And then this one, they say just engaging offline, meaning actually do things like biking or swimming, meeting up with people, God forbid. This COVID world is different. So it's a different type of list you might make for yourself.
Yeah.
But, there's that. And then start the dopamine detox, meaning, even when it's uncomfortable, and we've all been there where you want to be on social media, but you don't, but then you get this withdrawal feeling. Commit to it, right? Like give yourself that hour before you go to bed and don't be on social media and don't, and even if it is uncomfortable at first, the more you do things, right? You have to do things for 21 days straight to create a habit. And so if you can do that, then you can really make some changes with your life. And, my other suggestion is just give yourself grace, right? Like as someone who I would say probably have an addiction, but I don't see it as a hindrance in my life. So it's not something I'm going to correct at this stage. But I do thoroughly enjoy being on the internet pretty much every hour of the day.
Well, that's the problem. Like even financial things are based upon the internet. Yeah. So you could not use it. You could try to do everything offline, but it's going to make everything harder.
Yeah.
Everything harder.
And also unsecure, right? Or less secure. So
to say, I got to store everything as cash and I have to go to the bank in person all the time. I'm not going to do any transactions online. Like that's really tough.
I would just say, be honest with yourself. And do you feel like your connection or utilization of the internet is making your life harder or worse? If it's making it harder, then do something about it, right? But and definitely check out the resources we mentioned today, as well as the links on the episode on WokeNFree.com. But if it's not, then this is just a good conversation to just, ask yourself the question, ponder, are you addicted to the internet?
I think, you could think, are you addicted to the internet and what kind of internet habits would I want to change? Because there's the problem that I remember once the internet was more fleshed out and we got stuff like Wikipedia, is everybody's done it where you just start reading one article and you go down a rabbit hole and it's like hours later and you're like, wow, what did I just do? And why was I reading about, where the first bunny came from? Like, how is that helping anything in life? Like, that happens, but see, you got to learn how to change habits like that. Don't get sucked down the rabbit hole. And now you have social media, get sucked down the scroll, my whole list of posts kind of thing.
Or like, like losing, like when I first got on TikTok, I definitely would lose hours to it.
Scroll and see all this stuff.
So now I've been able to change that behavior thanks to having a child. So he definitely takes priority over TikTok scrolling. But yeah, exactly. Like,
that's what you got to be careful of.
And are there behaviors you want to change? And then get really honest and clear with yourself and get to work, right? Like the same way you got addicted is the same way you can change that addiction.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It is scenario time. Scenario 1. Aquila is a real estate agent who constantly checks her phone to communicate with clients and associates. She even takes showers with her phone so she does not miss anything. Would this be a possible sign that she has IAD, Internet Addiction Disorder?
Absolutely, and I wonder how bad her phone smells. Like, that's just like, if she's taking it everywhere, I just feel like it's just...
Oh, really?
In a bad situation.
Well, it has like lots of bacteria
germs
on
that.
But she takes it in the shower, so she might put soap on it and clean it off. I don't know. She might do that.
She definitely does. I understand that. I definitely understand the motivation, right? Because as a real estate agent, time is money for you and you don't want to miss deals. And with real estate, especially with COVID right now, we haven't even really gone into it too much on the show here, but property prices are crazy. Bidding wars are nuts, out of control. So, when you have a deal, you got to make sure you're on top of it so that you don't lose out and miss out. So she does have to be keenly acute into every message and every response, but she also has to have a healthy work-life harmony situation. So that is something she's going to need to deal with, because as much as it is important for her to be aware of everything going on transaction-wise, you can't be so connected, because what if you go in a zone where you have no internet? You're going to your brain's going to pop. Like, you got to be able to detach, right? Healthy boundaries.
All right. So I don't know if she has this disorder, because I think it's just business. She's just taking her business with her everywhere she goes. I think she's addicted to work, to be honest.
Oh, okay. You would go that way. Interesting.
But I mean, we don't know what she's doing on her phone, because she's communicating with clients, but is she checking her social media feed constantly? But either way, I don't know. This is hard to tell, to be honest.
You need more information.
I couldn't say.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would think she's not addicted to the internet.
Okay.
Scenario 2. Jashoy argues that one might be obsessed with the internet, but that is not the health disorder. He thinks people that claim to have the disorder are wrong and should admit that they have another mental health problem. Does Jashoy have a point, or should he keep his opinions to himself? Yeah,
so Jashoy should listen to our episode, I believe it's 198, about solicitation of unsolicited advice, because nobody's asking Jashoy nothing. And then secondly, unless Jashoy is a medical professional who specializes in mental psychosis and internet addiction, as well as other mental health disorders, again, shut your trap hole, because you need to come from a place of education and knowledge and wisdom before you speak on something. So that's my salty answer there.
All right. Wow. You just told him to keep it quiet.
Yeah. Just keep it to yourself. And then secondly, I think with anything in science, sometimes we make a declaration and we say, oh, it's this way. And then 5 years later, it's a different way. And
things can be proven wrong. Yeah.
Correct. So at the end of the day, does he have a point that maybe the underlying obsession is what's driving the internet disorder, not an internet compulsion, not necessarily an actual addiction to the internet, but maybe you have a compulsive disorder and the tool or mechanism of your disorder that you're playing out is with the internet? Possibly. It could go either way, but at the end of the day, the point is, unless somebody's coming for you and asking you questions, keep it to yourself and, be a blessing. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And your thoughts?
My thoughts are he should not talk to people about this, because they probably will attack him with physical violence.
Nice.
That's my thing. Because people don't like to be told their business. Even if he's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I just think he's going to get people really mad and they're going to come for him. So
that's hilarious.
Keep your body safe and don't try to tell people what's going on in their mind, because they're going to come for you real hard.
What's going on in your mind?
Yep. Don't do it. Like,
That's
I just
amazing.
warn I'm just gonna keep him safe. I'm worried for his personal safety
I'm
in
not.
the situation.
My whole thing is you're a grown up, so whatever you put out in this world, be prepared to take it right back. And so if you want to come sideways to people will come sideways to you.
Wow, okay.
So you gotta understand that. You have to teach KJ that too. You can't just come up on people and just be crazy and then be like, why are they crazy with me? Are you crazy? You came crazy to them.
But people will elevate stuff. They escalate things.
As we have an episode about de-escalation strategies and
people
techniques.
Escalate. They say, you started here. I'm going to start here.
So you came to me and so here's my gun. And it's really unfortunate, because we live in the world where, people will shoot first and greet later. Yeah. And that's a real crazy situation.
They can shoot you first and greet you later.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real wild, wild west, but that's unfortunately a part of the world you live in. So when you understand the rules of engagement, play the game.
Wow.
Play the game correctly, guys.
If that's what you think, I mean, wow.
I don't think we should be responding to people in that way. I do not think violence is ever the answer. Violence. I do not think, even if someone is out of their mind with you, you should never physically have an altercation with them. Of course not. But be prepared to understand that is the world you live in. So.
Well, people take those words personally.
Correct.
They take it to heart and they're going to show you
and they shoot you.
They're going to put you. They're going to put you down. They're like, I'm going to put you down.
We have an upcoming episode about that. It's going to be really interesting. We can't wait for people to hear about that. Actually.
Scenario 3: Natalie works at a sports line marketing company and uses a work phone that blocks all access to the internet. The company doesn't allow their employees to carry personal cell phones while on jobs, so Natalie does not access the internet at all during the day. As soon as she gets home, though, she is on social media until she goes to bed. Is it possible that she is addicted to the internet?
Oh, that's an interesting scenario. I would say no in this case because it sounds like Natalie is actually just trying to kind of not compromise, but like she's shifting her time that she normally probably would be on social media, which is a lot of times people do that throughout the day, whether it's their lunch break or in the morning or whatever. And because she probably is working a full day and like you said, technologically doesn't even have access to it, she's just compensating that. She's compensating for the fact that this is the only time of the day she's able to tap in. So she's tapping in, that's what I think it was.
That's interesting. All right. I would say she is addicted to the internet because she's doing the social media until bedtime. I don't know. That to me just seems excessive, but that's coming from me. I think I could be wrong, but
okay.
I would think that it's something to look at because she can look at it for maybe an hour or so, but I don't know what's the right amount. That's the thing. What's the amount of time that you spend on social media that would decide you're addicted to the internet?
The amount that would be determined that would, if you could be utilizing time for something else and you chose not to.
But so you always can do that.
Okay, then. So that's why I think the addiction is always like a possibility for most people, actually.
But what if you only use it an hour? Then you're not addicted no matter what?
Probably not. Yeah, but if you use it for 4 hours, which so many of us do, yeah. And but to your point, if you only have 4 hours before when you have to go to bed and you use all 4 on social media, then I would say that that's indicative of a problem.
Yeah, that's why I think there's an issue here.
But if you had 7 hours before you go to bed and you use 4, is that necessarily? Not necessarily, right? Because what if a part of, maybe she has a side blog that she's working on, so she needs to engage.
That's possible.
What if she also that's the only way she communicates with her family? I mean,
but would bloggers be considered addicted to the internet if it's their job?
No, so that's the thing. Right? Unless you are using the time beyond.
Just scan the internet.
So if you're spending 24 hours a day and you're on the internet and social media for 19, probably, right? But like, if it's 7, no, because that's your job.
Okay.
But, this conversation is, getting my blood boiling because I feel a little shaded. I'm slighted. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, but I do feel like people might get in their feelings a little bit from this.
Of course they will. They're like, I'm definitely not addicted.
Yeah. So,
I do all those things, but I'm not addicted.
Our WokeNFree disclaimer is don't be in your feelings.
And remember, not every scientist recognizes it as an actual disorder. So
and understand that this is a
WokeNFree
conversation, which means we want to hear your side of the conversation. So if you're like, y'all don't know nothing, or y'all are coming at this all differently, or you have a different perspective you want to add to it, you know what you need to do. You need to get the Podbean app and be able to add in your comments, because that is what WokeNFree is all about. Being able to have a conversation. And it looks like, unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on where you're coming from on that. It is the coming to the end of our 214th episode of WokeNFree. This was quite the episode asking and answering the question, can you be addicted to the internet? So with that, what do you have to say, Khalil?
What I will have to say is come back next week for the new Woke and Free Wednesday episode. Mm-hmm. And then you probably should follow us on social media because then you can follow along in the conversation. And tune in next week for Woke and Free Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
Absolutely. For guests or those interested in collaborating, always find us on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. And of course, all our social media channels are listed on the About Us page at WokeNFree.com. And that is WokenFree.com. And guys, if you are also interested in any sponsorships or any type of, collaborations that you're like, well, maybe they would be interested in that. Please don't forget the Contact Us page at WokenFree.com is the best place to reach us at.
And if you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for Woke and Free Wednesdays. Remember, Woke and Free is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.
There's no way to be addicted to Woke and Free. But maybe there is.